Hey there, I'm Dr. Dan Lemberger, and I'm here with Dr. Daniel Knowles, the founder of the Mile High movement for this Mile High podcast 2016, coming at you from here in the Mile High state of Colorado. Danny, welcome to the podcast.
I am very grateful to be here, and I am so excited about this year.
We have an incredible year of Mile High available to you this year, and Danny's going to be sharing some of that during this time together. For those of you who do not know Dr. Danny Knowles, he's incredibly inspirational in the chiropractic profession, involved in his practice, involved in his community. Some people would say he's evolved in his community too. He's involved in the chiropractic profession within the state, and he's also involved in chiropractic internationally. Danny, maybe you can share a little bit about your background and how Mile High actually came into existence.
Well, we'll go through both. I'll start with my background because a lot of people don't necessarily know me. They know me through Sherman Connect. Some people know that I'm on the Sherman College Board of Trustees. Some people know me from teaching network to some degree. And I'm involved in lots of different circles within chiropractic, so they know me that way. What a lot of people don't know was that I grew up in New York and in the Bronx, and as a kid, I had lots of, I found chiropractic because I had health challenges, like so many people do. I had immune challenges, ear infection challenges, and then allergy challenges, and someone randomly told my parents, my mom specifically, you got to take this kid to a chiropractor. As you know, I was a referral from a stranger, which is the power for a referral to affect the profession. And she took me, and I had no back pain or neck pain, but within about a month or two, the allergies completely went away, and that made her excited enough to go to become a chiropractor because she was looking for a health profession, but she didn't know what. And she did. I remember her saying, "I don't even want to give someone an aspirin." So like that was her philosophy. So she wanted to do something natural, and so then she went to chiropractic school, and I kept getting chiropractic care on and off. But I remember something very distinct, which is I went to all these different chiropractors, and I don't remember one telling me about subluxation or innate intelligence, or any of the values or principles of our profession, or what they were doing. They just did something to me. I don't know if that was because I was a kid or something, but I never remember anybody telling me anything about what they were doing. So that if you don't get educated about chiropractic, it becomes a therapy of some kind. It's like it's a treatment for something unless you know the why.
Right.
So then later as a teen, when she started, and a lot of people don't know this, she started dating Donnie Epstein and then got married to Donnie Epstein. He was the first person to actually, not just slightly or gently, but very strongly,
As he does,
say what chiropractic was.
Right.
And then, that was really, I consider my real introduction to chiropractic. Before that, I didn't know the difference between it and taking a pill. And chiropractic is best delivered not in a treatment model, in my opinion.
Right.
So then I got exposed to that, and then the next thing was I got even further a little bit exposed to chiropractic when I went to their wedding, because now they've been dating for a while. So my mom and Donald Epstein got married. When I showed up at this wedding, and the ceremony was performed by a French chiropractor, and I thought, like, this is now really weird. I was 19 at the time, but that French chiropractor was Arnaud Bernier.
Also of the Mile High State, at least now, formerly Yardley, PA.
Also in Mile High State, and Jay Kamarick was there, who's also, and I met him, but I was a teen, and now he's also in the Mile High State, so it's all feels very predestined. So that was my introduction to chiropractic, and then one day, not even expecting to be a chiropractor, I traveled down with my parents to visit Sherman College just because it was the weekend, and they were going to Lyceum, and he was speaking. I said, sure, I'll go to South Carolina, it'll be fun. And I just remember walking onto the Sherman campus during Lyceum, the tent was up, and sitting there under the tent for hours of hearing different speakers, and it was Joe D'Onofrio,
right,
Donald Epstein, Reggie Gold, Arnaud Bernier, and all these people. And by the end of the weekend, guess what?
Yeah.
I was going to chiropractic school.
Yeah. and the continuation of that story is not long after I was inspired to go to chiropractic school because of you. So that you never know how far-reaching something you may think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow is a ripple effect, which has started in New York and other places in Davenport, Iowa, and led us all here to the Mile High State.
Well, yeah, and exactly. I mean, I was so fired up about being a chiropractor, and you and I were in undergrad, which again, a lot of people don't necessarily know that we knew each other back in undergrad. They just
Which was
know us
which
about
was 3 years ago,
right, and they
maybe
know that you are
25 years ago. But
right. They know you were a dean of continuing education at Sherman, or know
right,
that you are involved with Mile High, or other things in the profession like the Da Vinci Group and so on, or the IFCO. But then you were, as you got exposed to chiropractic, you went to Sherman, and we had a great time at Sherman.
yep,
You, myself, David Serio,
yeah,
Mike Duran, some great people that came out of it. Simon Senzon, that we were all at Sherman together at that
right,
time,
yeah,
and many, many others.
yeah.
Christopher Wolf.
Yeah, and I think part of that, when we were at chiropractic school, we were both involved obviously in chiropractic. We were involved in a lot of student groups, and from an early point, you, Danny, were organizing groups and being involved in not just crazy trips around the world, which I've been involved with you as well, but involved in organizing World Congress of Chiropractic students, different clubs on campus. So, what was it that kind of drove you to, start this Mile High movement and this, incredible program, which is continually growing over the past few years? What was it that kind of spoke to you to get this all started here in Colorado?
So this is really important because there's a lot of catalysts, and I want to talk about them. Before I say that, I also want to say also Randall Lorich and Rochelle Lorich were also at Sherman at that time.
Do you know Rochelle Lorich?
I do know Dr. Rochelle Lorich because she later became Rochelle Knowles. So
That's good. Good shout out. Good points.
But here's the thing. What happened is this, and people need to know this because there's a whole history here that really I want people to learn from for making a difference or an impact in their state. Because we call it not the Mile High Seminar, not the Mile High Weekend, okay, but the Mile High Movement. I didn't sit around one day and say, you know what, I just want to have a seminar. And I didn't sit around and say I was bored and wanted more to do by any means whatsoever. A long time ago, you and I did the Colorado Chiropractic Wellness Alliance. It was a state organization. This was pre-CalJam, pre-Focus, all of those things. We had conventions. Tempo came out and spoke. A whole lineup that was amazing. It was multiple years, and we were making an impact in the state. But then we merged all the state organizations and for various political reasons, and practice got busier. Volume kept going up, and I really completely checked out from the political scene. Now, this is important because a lot of fired up, passionate, vitalistic chiropractors do that because you got to do your life, your kids, all of those things, and you're in your practice, and you forget about the profession. Well, here's what happened. When I first was asked to serve the Sherman College Board of Trustees, I was literally blown away by even being asked, but I said I'm glad to step up. I love Sherman College. I love what it stands for. It's my alma mater. It's my value system in terms of chiropractic. So once I started to see behind the scenes, after being about a decade checked out from the political scene, what was going on in the chiropractic profession, I got really irritated about a whole number of things, really frustrated, and really, honestly, just downright angry about things that I was seeing that I had no idea. The direction of the profession becoming not just allopathic. We used to think a mix. I don't really like the term straight-in mixer personally anymore, but we used to think like a mixer was someone who's modalities. But it had gone so far into they want to do injections, they want to do drugs. I mean, things that was not considered what mixing was 20 years ago, right? Yep. Now our objective was completely a medical objective, not at all a chiropractic objective, and it was in our home state to the degree that we want injections, we want drugs, we want vaccinations, we want chiropractors to be able to do vaccines. Like all of these things were coming to a head, and what happened was this. This was going to come up as a discussion in the state board level. Injections, and it did. Yeah. Now, in the past, when these things came up, 20, 30, 50, you remember, like when they wanted to not allow us to use the subluxation station.
Right.
There were like 100 doctors that showed
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Now, when this happened and there was going to be injections, one doctor showed up, which was Mile High MC and speaker Jared Dawson.
Right.
He was the only one who showed up, and we sent out emails and calls. He was the only one that showed up and had a voice.
Yep.
And here's the thing. Liam Schubel says apathy leads to allopathy in chiropractic.
Yeah.
And that's what had happened in our state. Everybody, I mean, people were apathetic. I think they did care, but they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I was just so frustrated seeing that, wait a second, you want to do something that's completely against the the basics of chiropractic philosophy, and only one chiropractor speaks out? There's a problem there. So it was a motivating force that I wanted to make a movement for change that spreads. And we're seeing it spreading because guess what? Some of the things that happened more recently in the state association here, they just did that in the Palmetto State organization. They just took our same thing and adopted that. And I want to see that happen more. I want to see more people in different states that are vitalistic, subluxation-centered, wellness, whatever term that you want to use for it, but have the values of the vitalistic principle in the center of what they do, be involved politically on the school level, on the state board, and the state association level, because like I did, we check out because we're busy running our practice, and then things get so far skewed. And you remember this, I know, when we were in school, and Reggie came to speak at assembly, and we're in the CCE, and he said something. He said to us, it's not me saying it, it's Reggie saying it. He said to the assembly, he said that we need to the objective, the battle over chiropractic, therapeutic, non-therapeutic chiropractic has left the educational level. It's a state board and state association level, and we need you to be board busters and association busters.
Yeah.
And I don't know about buster, but we need to have an impact, influence, and our voice be heard, and people have to step up and do that.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. Change ultimately is going to come from the inside out. And
imagine that.
We as chiropractors, we as practitioners, we as concerned citizens need to be involved because we do get so busy in our lives, with our families, with our children, with our practices, with the other things that we have interesting, going on in our lives. And so often there are things that get neglected that are necessary to tend to. And I think that's a great thing about the Mile High movement, is that it really speaks to not just people who are concerned, but it speaks to all the people, and people who are informed. And that's something that I really notice at Mile High each year is, one of the most powerful things that happens is the connection of the people all walking around, speaking with each other during the speakers, connecting in the exhibitor rooms. There's a lot of powerful synergy that happens at the program. Amazing stuff on the stage, and also incredible stuff that you get just from connecting with people who are there,
right.
Who are around. Speaking of the incredible people who are going to be there this year, maybe share some of the people who are lined up for Mile High 2016.
Well, it's Mile High 4, so the theme is, I kept thinking, what's my favorite thing that has to do with a 4? Zeppelin 4 is the best Zeppelin album. It's one of the best albums of all time. So we're going with the Led Zeppelin theme.
So we have Led Zeppelin reunion at Mile High 2016.
That's right. We have the Led Zeppelin reunion. So, one of the people that's speaking that I am most excited about coming is someone coming from all the way the other side of the planet. All right. Wow. So not just the other side of the U.S., but the other side of the planet, which is Phil McMasters.
Who is amazing from down under.
He's the president of New Zealand Chiropractic College. He was in the past the chairman of the board, and he is an incredible chiropractor. For him to see, and he's coming out because he knows what our vision and mission and direction and the impact, and he wants to be behind it and support it. So for having him come speak is one of the things that I'm most excited about. Also, here's the thing. I think the chiropractic profession has had enough of just a rah-rah session.
Yeah.
and has had enough of I'm getting excited and I'm getting thrilled, and they really want something and they want the camaraderie, and that's what we've changed a lot of things about the program coming up this year, because I know that some of the conversations and things, the social time that happens outside of the room is just as powerful as what happens inside the room, and I wanted to foster more of that for people. But also that we have speakers, just like all the other years, it's like we want real content because people want stuff that they can use for their strategy, yes, to build their philosophy, yes, to build their marketing, that they can utilize in their office. And that's the intention. And 100% only chiropractic speakers, chiropractic exhibitors, nothing else.
Right. And I think that kind of up and down sort of thing, as I always like to say to people in care, up and down is really exciting on a roller coaster. It's not always great in life. We're kind of, and especially what you see with the growth with Mile High, not just in terms of the people who are attending, but also in the numbers over the years, is it's really steadily rising. And it's really exciting to see how that continues to build. And it's not just, yay, woo, yay, woo. It's really that kind of fully engaged, notching it up each time, just getting better and better each time. So who are some other people coming up for this year in 2016?
Well, Liam Schubel's going to be there.
I've heard of him.
Okay.
Apparently he's a big deal.
Another president, Edwin Cordero, so president of
Nice,
Sherman
of Sherman College.
So
nice.
two college presidents, Matthew McCoy. A third president, Jack Borla, so president of the IFCO. So it's a very presidential affair.
Nice. It is a presidential year after all. So.
Well, and Liam's president of CWD, so that'll work. So it's 4 presidents. Okay. Mark Swerdlick is going to be coming out.
Who was incredible last year. Totally incredible last year.
A favorite last year. Jay Kamarick. I'm really excited about Brian T. Lum coming out to speak.
Yes. For those of you who have never heard Brian T. Lum, amazing practitioner coming out from North Carolina.
Yep.
Incredible.
And Simon Senzon.
Who, a true leader in the chiropractic profession. For those of you who haven't read Simon's books yet, definitely get them. He is finding out things about the chiropractic profession that the chiropractic profession didn't even know about itself, and really advancing the philosophy and bringing it not just in terms of, repackaging, like really advancing the way we think and the way we do chiropractic, not to change it, but to make it better and deeper and more fulfilling for all of us.
Right, and that's one of the things that we look for, that I look for in making Mile High, is I want depth.
Yeah.
I want speakers that I know are going to bring depth. And Autumn Gore is going to be there. Lacey Book is going to do an hour of Liz Anderson Peacock, and David Fletcher from CLA. So it's just going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm also really grateful to have the MC help from, of course, you and the infamous Joel Kinch.
Yes, Dr. Joel Kinch of Castle Rock, Colorado.
But here's the thing. Content, depth, and when I was in that frustration state, when this idea was mulling in my head, I remembered one day I was sitting there and I was like so upset about the apathy and people not showing up, and I got a postcard in the mail, and it was a postcard in the mail for CE credits for for sports physicals and elbow exams, right? Nice. And hey, if you're into sports physicals and elbow exams, more power to you. I'm not saying that. I was like, I wanted to have a program that is only about philosophy, science, and art of subluxation, as well as the business strategies and marketing and communication that you need, that for a person that has a hub of just that, because there's not a lot of just that in the profession. Right. There's a lot of things that are given as a philosophy program that really is a motivation program, and we'll have motivation there, but that can't be the focus. There's science about subluxation. There's things that people can learn to get more depth about maybe the upper cervical spine, or more depth about instrumentation, or more depth about how to communicate in their office so we can be excellent at what we do and fill us up in those areas with real content. So that's what I look for, that people can bring that to a different depth than maybe they're getting elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something about Mile High is it definitely brings a lot of steak with the sizzle, or for us here in Boulder, Colorado, a lot of Tempe with the sizzle. If that's what you're into, you vegetarians. Um, so if you're out there and listening to this, the website to go to is milehighcairo.org. There's information there about all the speakers registering. There's some amazing things coming up this year. There's a new location this year, right?
Yeah, so let me talk about that. That's a really good point. So remember, we want to get more depth. And part of it, what we're doing right now, like we've done these speaker interviews, you, me, and Dr. Kinch. We'll call him Doctor. You, me, and Dr. Kinch. We're going to change that where it's not just a video that's 10 minutes. We want to be the mile, now again, not the Mile High weekend, but the Mile High movement. So
Right.
to do that, what we need to do is have stuff that you get all year. So the Mile High experience is not just happening at the seminar, but all year. All these speakers are going to deliver content in podcasts, so you can get it audio, video, streaming, iTunes, whatever way you want it, and you'll get it all year. So your experience of Mile High will not just happen at the weekend, but the weekend is where you'll get to rub elbows and connect with all the people that are there.
Right.
And all the people that are like-minded and have the same interests. Now here's the thing, we are changing hotels. It's literally across the street. So literally on the other side of the highway. But here's the thing. If I want to have more content and the speakers to have more time and more depth and more social time, I needed more more time in the hotel. I couldn't get that where we were.
Right.
So in this new location, we're going to be able to get that. So, and we're going to have pretty much the whole hotel. The hotel has only, got to pay attention, 215 rooms in it. That is all the hotel has.
And that will sell, and for everybody out there, that will sell out early, way before the program.
No doubt. So we're going to have the whole hotel, because last 215 rooms, last year we had 450 people.
Right.
You might have more than one person in a room, obviously, but still, that'll sell. And obviously you want to be on site because it's better to just be around in terms of events and evening events and social events and getting up in the morning and things that we're doing, because we're going to have a League Chiropractic Women breakfast. We're going to have a philosophy morning. We're going to have a party at night. We're going to have the Sherman lunch. There's going to be all kinds of other things. Oh, you know what else we're going to have?
What are we going to have?
We're going to have, wait, before I say it, okay, and that's how we're going to start Thursday night, and the program is going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so no Sunday.
Right.
Sunday, people need to travel and you get back to practice, so we're going to start Thursday night. So that means you got to travel and get there Thursday,
Right.
and be there for Thursday night. We're going to have breakout session. The other thing I wanted, for few speakers, we wanted to have a little longer time, like an hour, with them in a smaller group setting, and we couldn't do that.
Right.
So the new location, since we're going to have like the whole hotel, we're going to be able to do that. So there's going to be 3 1-hour breakout sessions happening at the same time. You choose which person. One of them's already set, which is going to be the Dark Lord. Okay, Mark Swerlick is going to do an hour, 60 to 90 minute session besides his stage time, and we're going to set up 2 others. Okay, so people that want to get more from that can do that.
Nice.
So that was the other reason. This way, it's just like we're really developing a place that becomes a home for those that are committed to chiropractic's principle, to whatever degree they're committed to, whatever path they are, where they are in the philosophy, but they want to grow in it, and they have resources to grow. So it's a resource-filled event. But there's one other thing that we're going to do, which is what you started.
What's that?
The 300 days of run.
300
The
days
300
of run.
days of run.
300 days of run.
300 days of run.
So, for those of you who haven't heard about 300 days of run.
Yeah, tell them about the 300 days of run.
So, 300 days of run is not specifically a chiropractic-related event. However, has crossover. We have runners actually from 5 continents, most of the U.S. states, a few of the Canadian provinces. Like I said, multiple continents who are all running, who have committed to run 300 plus days this year in 2016, and raise money for a charity of their choice. A lot of people, like Danny, you have chosen the Foundation for Vertebral Subluxation Research. Rochelle, I know, is running. Simon Senzon, who's also a speaker this year, is running for the ICPA. So it's a
Right.
great opportunity for people who want to run, who want to create some really bold, audacious goal for themselves to get out. It's for normal runners who want to be extraordinary runners and do something memorable that they can tell everybody about. But we also want to make it about more than just me as a runner or you as a runner. We want to make it that as you run, you can create more good besides just what you do for yourself. So that way people can tie in philanthropy. We have this whole thing set up at 300daysofrun.org that you can check out. At a certain point, it's not going to be possible to run 300 days. So Mile High is August 18th through 21st. If you decide on August 18th, that's going to be your first day of run, you're going to be a little short of the 300. However, we're going to have a very exciting micro challenge during the program for people to be able to participate, and we're going to raise money for an awesome chiropractic charity. So that's going to be something also that we're adding this year as a little something to the event. And like Danny said, Mile High does not begin.
Sponsor me.
So
Sponsor
sponsor
me
Danny on his.
Because I am running for or against subluxation.
I think it would be you're running against subluxation.
Subluxation, but for subluxation research. Right?
Yes, exactly.
So people sponsor me. I'm going to run all year so that we can raise funds for subluxation research through the Foundation for Subluxation Research, which is amazing work that Christopher Kent and Matthew McCoy are doing. And again, Matthew McCoy speaking this year, of course.
Right. And incredible things throughout the year. Like Danny said, this is not Mile High weekend. This is not Mile High seminar. This is a Mile High movement where you are going to be able to experience that pulse of Mile High, that vibration of Mile High. When you come up here to altitude, if you do not already live here in Colorado, sometimes people feel out of breath because they think there's not oxygen. You're going to come to Mile High movement weekend and you are going to be out of breath because you're going to be so excited, jumping up and down and cheering the whole weekend, and just saying to yourself, wow, this is absolutely amazing and impactful, not just to me, but also to all the people I serve in my practice. MileHighChiro.org is the place to go to get yourself registered. Bringing staff to the program, that is an amazing thing to do, yes?
Yes, absolutely bring your team. Whenever I go to something, I bring my team because your team has to know your why. And this is an important thing. I've seen so often chiropractic offices be held back by their team. You can be held back by the doctor, you can be held back by your philosophy or lack of strategies, and you can also be held back by a team that just doesn't understand your why. And if they can latch onto the vision better, they're going to serve the community better, and they're going to help you to lift up and be the support system they want them to be. So we're going to have a team breakout again with Harold. So she's awesome. People loved her a few years ago, and she's going to do a 2-hour team session. And team is vital, to success in a chiropractic office. You can't do something big and lasting on your own, or it's very hard to, especially in office. And the more support you have, better, and the better support. And so talk about that for just another moment here, which is that with wanting to have real information, your team understanding more from all of the speakers, whether it be science, somebody says a couple of quotes, somebody says something about research that they didn't know or understands the philosophy in a big level. It doesn't take much for that to rub off across the communication, a front desk or the phone, in addition to the conversations and what they learn in the training session with Heidi Farrell. So you want them in the room, and also not just that, but the energy. When they get the energy of other chiropractic teams, I mean, that fired up my team. My team was there, believe it or not. It was their first chiropractic program of any, and they'd just been hired like 2 months for Mile High, and they were putting it together. They thought I was crazy, and they were there, and afterwards they said this was such, my team said this, and they had to work all weekend. This was such an affirmation of why we are working here. We saw all those people that were so excited about this about chiropractic, and that's what you want from your team. So you've got to bring your team to things, whatever it is, but especially Mile High weekend.
Yeah, and if you're coming from out of state, it's August 18th to 21st. If you're coming from in-state, it's still August 18th to 21st. But if you're coming from out of state, Colorado is an amazing place to bring your family. Bring your family. Boulder is just up the road from where we do the program. Incredible place, amazing things to be. A lot of very strange people. That's why Danny and I both live here. But also the mountains are just, half hour away, the most majestic mountains you've ever seen. Denver's 20 minutes away from our hotel location. So amazing place to bring the family as well. There's a number of things in the area for kids to be able to do. So make it a family event as well as bringing your team, your staff. It's going to be an incredible program for everybody.
Absolutely. So the other thing that happened is that the stories of people telling me they went all cash. They reduced their insurance. They're able to see more people. They're studying the guidebook of all the content that the staff, because we give out a guidebook. Every speaker gives 1 to 5 pages of content into that guidebook. I had pictures and calls. People said that was the best thing because they got to use something after the event that lasted months later, and they're still reading it.
Right.
So all of that is what we want to have.
So it's milehighchiro.org. Go there, register early. There's some great savings for people who register earlier. Like Danny mentioned, the hotel's going to sell out early this year. If you just happen to crawl out from under a rock and it's August 17th and you're listening to this for the first time, and you say, oh my gosh, I want to go, the hotel is sold out. Don't worry, there will be overflow hotels, which are going to be necessary. But you who are listening to this now would be a really good time to go to milehighchiro.org, get your registration placed and your hotel room reserved, because those things are going to be.
You can reserve the hotel at www.milehighchirohotel.com. milehighchirohotel.com.
Okay. So, and those links will be, I'm guessing, with the player down below, so you can just click on that.
Right.
And any closing words for people in terms of the year ahead? Everybody's starting new. Right now we're recording this in January. We just started a new year. It's a new year. It's a new you. It's a new Mile High movement, which is continuing to grow. Words for people for the year.
Very simple. Last year, one of my favorite quotes in the whole weekend was my buddy, Liam Schubel. He said, we have a lot of work to do between Mile High 3 and Mile High 4. And we all have a lot of work to do in chiropractic. So it's good work, it's service work, it's helping people, it's making a difference in your community and the profession. But, roll your sleeves up and do what's needed for us to move the chiropractic profession forward in whatever way you have as your gifting to impact the profession, and not only just the 4 walls of your office and the community that you serve, but also do something good for the profession.
Yeah.
Oh, and on that note, there is one other thing. Funds this year we're supporting the IFCO this year.
Very nice.
So this year the funds are going to the International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations. So I highly recommend maybe become a member of the IFCO. If that's in line with your values, do that now too.
Yep. And last year you raised a great deal of money for Sherman College.
Right.
So milehighchiro.org. Go there now. Get yourself registered. It's going to be August 18th through 21st in Westminster, Colorado. That's just outside of Denver, just on the north edge of Denver. It's going to be an incredible weekend. You get to see wonderful speakers like this guy, Dr. Daniel Knowles. And you're going to be also getting these podcasts throughout the year leading up to Mile High. It's going to be the best year ever for Mile High 4. And we'll see you August here in the Mile High State.
Like our page on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Mile High Chiro.